This must have been one of the most embarrassing things I've done for a while. Suzuki Australia put on a free lunch for the first 100 Suzuki owners in WA. So the Hayabusa guys and myself, we went into the luncheon. And the Suzuki disgraced itself. Coolant everywhere. And the problem was it boiled when it shouldn't have. It boiled too early. I don't know what exactly going on at the moment, but it's all pointing towards the radiator cap because it let go the coolant into the overflow bottle and then out onto the ground. And when I pulled into the event, it was the car park was slightly downhill, and all the coolant was coming out of the overflow tube, hitting the belly pan here, and then running forward. So I had coolant sort of gushing everywhere, front to back. And luckily, I have some really good friends who are motor mechanics in my circle of friends. I have some great motor mechanics, and Fabian's spotted the problem. It was actually coming out of the overflow tube, so at least I knew where it was coming from and it hadn't burst a pipe or burst the bottle. But you know, in the heat of the moment when everybody's coming into the event and everyone's running up to me, "Hey Kevin, stop, stop, stop," and coolant's going all over the tyre and everything like that. I couldn't hear the fans working or not, and that was another confusing issue, because as far as I can work out, the thermofan should have come on at 104 degrees C, and they didn't, as far as I could tell, with all the other noise going on. And on the dash it was indicating 100 degrees, which is the plain old boiling point of water. So it shouldn't have done that. So I got it home. I didn't do any videoing of it, only the ride in, because I was just not in a good mood, I tell you. I copped a bit of stick over this one, I tell you. So anyway, another fail. Well, we'll put it right. Now, we found a few issues. I got the bike home I just went, I let it cool right down, took about 3 hours, got it nice and cool, and then I just rode home the back way and stopped on the way to make sure there was nothing leaking out, and the temperature stayed at 82 degrees. Now, it was really strange with this because I had 3 other TLR owners at the luncheon, and we couldn't agree on what was the normal temperature for the bike. Mine sits at 82 to 85 in normal riding, but we just got stuck into this traffic jam near the shopping centre, and it hit 100 and then dropped its lunch. So the other guys, my Hayabusa runs at 91 Celsius. So first up is the radiator cap. When it boils the coolant, it's not holding the pressure. And I took the cap off, I took the fairing off the side, and the first thing I see is that this cap is painted black. Someone's painted the cap, and it's not a Suzuki cap, so some generic thing. So I bought a Suzuki, standard Suzuki radiator cap, 1.1 bar. So I'll have new, fresh rubber seals and spring, of course, and it should seal correctly. Now, the other strange thing is that someone had painted not only the cap black, but they also painted around the top of the mating surface for the rubber seals of the radiator. And that's just crazy, because when I undid it, it's all chipped and flaky around the mating surface. So how the rubber seal could ever have sealed over all these little steps of paint on both of the flanges? So I've cleaned up some of it, and I've got to keep cleaning that surface, but I've got the cap now, and we should seal fully. I'm amazed. So that was one issue. Let's put that back there. Is the radiator temp switch. Now this one is off my Hayabusa radiator, and even this one is broken at the end. But this bike here, it's had a hit here, a dent, and the switch here, the backing where the connector goes into, has been smashed off. Probably obviously due to the accident, it's gone. And it's just had two little wires, zoom in for you there, but the two little wires were just into the back of the switch and held in with some tape. So I don't know if the switch had actually, I don't know if the wiring had actually come off the switch, but I couldn't see if I couldn't hear if the fan was working or not. So I've ordered a new radiator temp switch, and we'll get there now. But the other bigger problem than getting the switch is getting the electrical connector to go onto the switch, because you can't buy it from Suzuki. You know, we're talking the wiring harness now. A friend of mine put me onto a place in Perth, but they didn't stock them, but they told me I could get them from over east, and what we call over east, so in Victoria I think it is. So, and I'm waiting now for the proper wiring harness connectors to go into the brand new switch on the radiator, so that's a delay for sure. So that's where we're at with that. Harness connectors. But what I can do is, because it had a little section in there, I can actually bridge the wires, and we just see if the radiator fans are working. So it should. Bring that over here, and we will. These two wires. The two wires are connected, just bridged together. Nothing there on the switch. And there we have the fan. Okay, so we just turn the ignition on, and we've got fans. So that means that the fans are okay, but we've just got other issues. Another thing I found while I was poking around down on the right hand side here is that someone's wired in a TRE, standing for, what do they stand for? Standing for a timing retard eliminator. So I can't see the point in that at all. If you're going to change the exhaust system for the Yoshis or M4 full system, or change your airbox, things like that, you've got to change the air-fuel ratio, not the timing. So I don't agree with that at all. And it hasn't got a power commander to do any fuel adjustments, and Woolwich Racing don't list the flashing of the ECU of this too old, I guess. So we've got a problem where I've got to find out how I can get the fueling mapped correctly to the air-fuel ratio, because this is not good. All these do is just trick the bike in. They just trick the ECU in thinking that it's in 5th gear instead of 6th gear, or 3rd or 4th or 2nd or 1st, anything. It just thinks it's in 5th. But no. But when it comes to the tuning of the bike on the dyno to get the air-fuel ratio right, I've been to a place before. His name is Alex, and he's a great guy, very patient. My bike's even broken down on his dyno before, so I can't believe it. So anyway, he's great, so we'll sort that out when the time comes. But I've got some good things as well. It's not all negative. I don't want to be a negative type of person. But I've got the quick shifter now. It's arrived. I went with the Heel Tech. One reason why is because I've been struggling to get stuff for the TLR. Aftermarket manufacturers just drop off parts available for the bikes, but I wish they wouldn't, because everything wears out if the original stuff is worn out, or when the bike is new and all the aftermarket people bring in stuff for the new models, that's worn out as well. And then, you know, like this is 20 years old, so now it needs updating or replacing parts for new stuff. So, and obviously I'm not a businessman to tell other businesses what to do, but it's a shame that they just keep dropping the years off for the bikes, so you can't get the gear that was available before. And we're still riding them. The market is there. The amount of people that have come up to me and either they've got one in the shed or they've got one, and like Sean has gone and bought another one. He had one before when they were newer. A friend of mine in Sydney sent me a picture of his son, and he's got 4 of them in the garage. I've been absolutely amazed on how many people just love these things, and they're around. So good on Heeltech for making products for the TLR. And to prevent failing out on the road again, I went and bought a new clutch fibre kit for the clutch. I'm a little bit worried about this clutch. It's on its way out, I think. It's got 72,000 kilometres on it. I'll have a look. What has it got? So the bike's got 72,000 kilometres on it, and there's a lot of original stuff here that just, other than TREs fitted, a lot of it there seems to be original. And I don't think there's anything left of this clutch, because the contact point, or some people call it the friction point on as you're letting out the clutch lever, is getting out to the very end. And I can't make it any more adjustment in with the adjustment on the lever, because it cuts out the start on the safety switch. So I've run out of travel on the safety switch, and the clutch is too far out. And then the first thing to do, if that's happening, is change the fibres. It's got no shutter, it's nice and smooth, but the contact point is right out towards the end. So I'll measure up when it comes out and get the stack height and see how we go with the new clutch. Standard for the fibres were $42 each. That's incredible. That's big money for the 9 plates. So this aftermarket, I think, was around the $200 mark. Italian it is. Never heard of it before, but apparently they are OEM for Ducati. Looking online, so fingers crossed, it'll be a good thing. Oh, so what I've done, I forgot to say again, I've bought a remote switch where I can just manually turn the fans on and off. 15 amp switch, waterproof, from the local electrical place. So I'm going to wire this in line up onto the dash somewhere so that I can manually control the temp there. And one thing that the guys with the TLRs said to me on the day when it broke down is that when the fans on their bikes did come on, the blast of heat was just incredible. So hopefully if we can turn on the fans manually before we get to the extreme temperature of 104, because that is getting hot. I know, it burns the inside of your legs. I thank all the guys that helped me out during the day. I really do. And my name is Kevin, and thank you to my subscribers and the guys that comment. I have a fantastic bunch of people that comment on my videos. I really appreciate it. So if you like what I'm doing, just subscribe and we'll carry on. Thanks a lot. See you later.